Welcome into our special edition of Locked On NBA Insider Report for the NBA Draft Lottery. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs is joining us. Jeff, the Spurs ended up at 9, kind of where we expected them to
Mhm.
be. Is there frustration there? You just kind of, that's what we expected, or where are you at with this pick at this spot?
The universe was singing very loud tonight. It was Tony Parker's birthday. He wore number 9. David
Okay.
Robinson was wearing number 50, and the Spurs are celebrating their 50th anniversary next year. Spurs had a 50% chance to land at number 9. It was obvious. The universe was screaming that that's what they're going to do, and that's what happened. Hey, look, it's not all lost. You
hmm
can look at some of the past number 9 picks: DeMar DeRozan, Dirk Nowitzki, Andre Iguodala. So it's not too bad, but yeah, vaulting themselves into maybe 6 or higher would have been a lot better. I think in this rebuild, the Spurs are desperately searching to get back into the groove, and that's how they're going to have to get back to glory is via the draft. We saw it last during the dynasty era, drafting Tim Duncan, drafting Tony Parker, drafting David Robinson, moving up to get Kawhi Leonard. That's how the Spurs are going to rebuild. But at number 9, it's not terrible. Now, some names that we're looking at right now is obviously Jalen Duren, Eason. Those are the types of players the Spurs need to target, in my opinion. They desperately need help at the big man spot, whether it be a power forward or a center. Look, no knock on Jakob Poeltl. He's great. He's just not it what the Spurs need. They need athletic, big, a rim runner, a guy can stretch the floor. So I think the Spurs should definitely target that type of player in at number 9. Now the Spurs do have three first round picks. Number
hmm
9, 20, and then I think about a 25 pick. So the Spurs have options, and that's what makes this awesome. The Spurs can package some of these picks, maybe move up, move down. They have young players that could be tradable. I think that should still be on the table if the Spurs really want to shorten this rebuild. But all in all, look, it's not all doom and gloom. It's a number 9 pick, the first top 10 pick they've had in years. The last one they
hmm
had, his name was Tim Duncan. So that's how
Yeah.
long it's been the
They
Spurs have
draft
been
pretty
into
well
this.
when they're
Yeah,
up
they
there.
draft pretty well. Look at what they did with 20s, DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Keldon Johnson. So I think the Spurs will be fine. The beauty of this, as I mentioned earlier, is just options. Tons of financial cap space this offseason, youth that they can flip, trade picks that they can flip, and even early second round picks the Spurs have upcoming in the draft. I think Spurs fans are divided right now. There are some saying they
Mhm.
should have tanked, avoided the play-in tournament to bump up their odds. I lean that way. I was kind of in agreement, thinking, "Hey, we're gonna get back to glory. How did they do it before through the
Mhm.
draft?" But here we are. Spurs at number 9. I think. I think they'll be all right. Spurs have a history of drafting well. They'll be okay.
How much of this is going to be affected by obviously what Coach Popovich ends up doing? Obviously,
Yeah.
there rumors of retirement. He hasn't said so yet,
Mhm.
but how much of that is going to affect this? Because if this is a true rebuild, whether or not, they were in the playing tournament, but what if they try to go that full rebuild mode? Is he going to be involved in that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, the odds are showing that he'll likely be back next season. Might be his final go round, but
hmm
what a what a what a great way for him to leave the team, knowing that they have a great foundation, a number 9 pick as of now. Um, and I don't think it really hinges on what he does. I just think it hinges on what the roster is going to look like. Really, you look at a guy like Lonnie Walker. He may not be back next season. He
hmm
is a restricted free agent. You look at other young players, Zach Collins, will he be back? That's a big that they could lose over the offseason. Could they trade a guy like Doug McDermott, who really wasn't that impactful for the Spurs last season due to injuries? So I really think everything's going to fall on what they do in the draft. I think that's where their starting point is. I've been saying this has been one of the most important off seasons for the Spurs in recent memory
hmm
because we're, a lot of Spurs fans are not used to this. They don't know what a rebuild looks like. I'm old enough
Right.
to remember when the Spurs made their way to the AB from the NBA to the NBA, and those were some lean years. So, kids, Spurs fans, this is what a rebuild looks like. You got to start, brick by brick, step by step. This is one of those bricks they got to lay. And look, again, number 9, it's not terrible, but yeah, those Spurs fans were bummed. They really thought that they'll be vaulting into that top 5 picks.
Definitely a lot of different ways they could go with this. So we'll have to see what they end up doing. But as you mentioned, the Spurs draft well. So there's a lot of high
Mhm.
hopes there for them as well. Jeff, thank you for joining us. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On NBA.